Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today you are in for a very special treat because we are talking about how to have the audacity as a content creator and show up without the fear of being seen, which will allow you to grow an audience of dedicated followers and subscribers across your social media platforms. So if you're new here, my name is India. I am a content creator educator here on YouTube. So if you like these tips and you want to save it for later, make sure you hit the subscribe. I have so many other things for you to watch already on my channel. So what really allows a creator to stand apart and make them completely unforgettable is them having the audacity to show up without the fear of being seen. And so what does that actually mean? A lot of people who set out to be content creators are afraid of being seen and have this deep inner fear of people are going to judge me, they are going to criticize me, they are going to, say something bad about me, and I'm going to ultimately regret this decision of posting content, where honestly it is all in your energy and how you show up. So if you have the fear of being seen, you probably are showing up very unconfident, so you don't really feel like you can speak to camera. It feels a little bit awkward for you. You kind of will stammer or you will stutter a little bit. You'll probably say a lot of ums and other filler words. You also may do what I call the influencer voice, where people say, guys, come with me to the grocery store. We're going to go shopping and we're going to talk about, no one actually talks about that. Generally, most people have a very regular speaking voice. So if you are doing these things, it's probably because you do not have a strong camera presence or camera confidence. And what that means is you are completely and totally comfortable speaking in front of the camera. Now, one of the ways to tell if you are comfortable with speaking in front of camera is that if you are speaking to camera in public, you are not thrown off or hesitant or quiet, or you don't show up any differently in front of the camera in public. Now that is one of the 4 sure ways to tell that you have camera confidence, in that you can show up to the camera and it feels like you're talking to your best friend. Like, people are like, oh my God, who's she talking to? And turns out it's just you holding your own camera. So I'm not going to make you go outside and do that just yet, but I will say that some of the things that help you develop that camera confidence is, first and foremost, practice. You have to practice. But when you're practicing, it has to be intentional. So some of the things that I teach my clients that I will coach, so different creators that I coach throughout the year, I will have them explain a concept to me without the camera. Right. So if someone is teaching me how to care for my hair, so I have a hairdresser client. So if my hairdresser client says, I want to teach girls how to do a twist out on camera, but I want to talk to the camera, I'll say, okay, explain to me how you would do that. Just in a few words, less than a minute, explain to me how I would do that, right? And generally, they can explain it to me very quickly, right? They already have the knowledge and what it is they're talking about. I mean, they're professional hairstylists, but for whatever reason, whenever the camera comes out, they are very, very shy. So what I will tell them to do is to just explain it to me in their own words, right? I'm their client and they're going to, that they're going to do my hair, and they're explaining to me how I can do this myself at home. And what I will do is record them while they are speaking in that casual tone and the casual conversation. And I will tell them, okay, this is the script, right? Because a lot of people tend to need to start out with a script because they don't really know what to say, or, for whatever reason, when the camera turns on, they just forget everything they want to talk about. So I will tell them, explain it to me as a friend, and I will just record them while they are talking to me on a voice memo, or I'll have my phone down and I'll just be recording it. So it is looking at the ceiling or it's looking at the floor. And I will tell them that is the exact words of how you need to speak to the camera. So that really helps them understand this is the tone and these are the word choices and this is the pace that I need to speak at when I am just talking to a friend. And for a lot of people, it is really difficult for them to understand how to do that in front of a camera. Even though they can do it on their own without a camera, right? They all of a sudden have an issue of doing it on the camera. So another thing that I will do when I am speaking to people or coaching people is I will hold up my phone while they are casually explaining to me that topic, right? So, level 1 is me just doing a voice recording or something, or me recording either the ground or the sky. And then level 2, I'll say, all right, now explain it again. And I'm just gonna hold up my phone. I may not actually be recording, but it just gives you practice to know how to speak to the camera when it is facing you, right? When it is looking at you. While they are doing that, I will also tell them to pretend they are talking to a friend, right? In those scenarios, I am standing right in front of them. I'm a pretty friendly person in person. In person, I will tell them, all right, just talk to me again. Right, we're going to do the exact same thing again. Just tell me in your own words exactly how to do this. And that tends to help them get comfortable in speaking in front of a camera. So the best way for you to start to develop camera presence and camera confidence is speaking on a camera. Is speaking over and over and over again in your videos. Is making eye contact with the camera. It's also having tenacity and confidence in your voice. It is so obvious when you're watching other people's videos, when you're scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Instagram, and you can see and notice people that are like, okay, today we're gonna make spaghetti. Yeah, so I got this pasta and this sauce, and it gets to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to this anymore, this is painful. And it's because people are trying to present themselves as opposed to just be themselves. If you are someone that really struggles with camera confidence and having a camera presence, for one thing, you need to start to speak with tenacity and with confidence and belief in what you are talking about. How boring would it be for you to click on this video and you'd be like, all right guys, so I think the best way for me to talk about this, like it even shows in my body language where I'm like kind of hunched over, I'm like making myself smaller, I'm looking down, I'm looking up. Whereas someone who has a camera confidence, they are taking up space. Their body language shows it. They may speak with their hands. I speak with my hands a lot, so you can definitely tell when I'm really passionate about a topic. The changes in my voice, right? I don't get on camera and say, all right, today we are speaking about how to develop your own YouTube channel. Like that would be so incredibly boring to listen to. So when you practice speaking on camera, speak like you were talking to a friend and speak like you were giving that friend some tough love or that you were just having a genuine conversation. I'm sure you have had either intervention with a friend, or you have listened to someone have an intervention with a friend, or you have, had to get some bass in your voice or just have some like changes in intonation when you were speaking about different topics. You can absolutely do it. You just need to have practice at doing it. And one of my clients that I've been practicing with, she has taken a few months to actually have that camera confidence, because even if you are someone who knows exactly what you are talking about, a lot of times your personality is hidden because you're trying so hard to present yourself as opposed to be yourself. So the next element of you really having this unforgettable experience with your audience members is to be yourself, right? Show your personality. It is so boring to stand up and watch a professor speak and not have any personality. Like it's like watching Charlie Brown's Teacher. No one wants to talk about that. No one wants to see that. If you have a quirky personality, let it show. People are gonna like it. And if they don't, oh well, who gives a shit? There are so many people that people can watch online that if they don't like you, they can watch someone else about the same topic. However, you being yourself and you having your personality is what is actually going to attract specific people to you. So I'll give an example with another one of my clients. So she is a coach and she will give people different tips. And for a long time, she really struggled with showing her personality on camera, even though she is a very well-versed coach. And again, whenever the camera was off, she would, give me different references that were related to other sports. She would, tell me in lamest terms, right? In very general terms, she would speak to me like a friend, be like, hey girl, or no girl, don't do that, right? So I literally had to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to start recording you as we're just having conversation. And so that you can see the differences between when you were talking to just me versus when the camera is on. And it was really a mental switch. It wasn't even a matter of, lighting, recording, sound, any of it. It was a matter of her thinking, I just need to talk to a friend like I would on camera. And when I say her videos were flawless after that, I mean, we used to take like 5 or 6 takes for just one video, whereas now she can do it all in one, maybe even 2 takes. So it is really your personality what allows you to stand out and what draws people in, what makes you unforgettable, which makes people relate to you in a way that, they may not previously see in other people, or they may not be able to connect to with other creators. You are the missing piece and you have to act like it. You have to show up like it. Your body language has to show up like it. Your words, your phrases, how you speak, all those things matter in the audience members that are going to connect to you. So camera presence is absolutely everything. However, there are a few other things I want to talk about in this video that go into being an audacious content creator. So the next thing that tends to offset people or kind of lower their confidence is that they don't believe that they are the expert in a certain topic. And depending on who you're talking to, specifically a lot of the older generation, they believe that you have to have a degree or certification or something of some school of some sort to be an expert in a topic, when the reality is you don't. Okay, you really just need to have a life experience, and you need to have a way to communicate your lessons and your knowledge to other people. So does it mean you need to go out and get a bunch of different certifications to be able to have a YouTube channel? No, that does not mean that you have to do that. If anything, you just have to be knowledgeable and honest with your audience about the things that you know and the things that you do not know. So my first example for this is when I started my YouTube channel and talking about content creator education, people were specifically asking me questions about YouTube. And at the time, I'd only have 5,000 subscribers. So I was like, what can I really show or help them with? And as it turns out, there was a lot of things that I could help them with. Even though I didn't have a massive following on YouTube, I still had knowledge about YouTube for them to learn from me. And a lot of people think that, oh, you need to have 1 million subscribers to be able to give out YouTube advice. That's not true. You don't need to have 1 million TikTok followers to give out TikTok advice. At each stage, you learn different skills and different tips and techniques that have helped you reach that stage that you can easily teach the next person. And specifically, the way you teach it, the way you communicate is what's actually going to resonate with those people and why they're going to want to follow you. So if you are giving advice on, let's say, how to make spaghetti, you don't have to have a degree from an Italian cooking school to be able to make spaghetti, okay? But you probably have experience in making spaghetti, and other people have told you this spaghetti is really, really good. You should start sharing this recipe with other people because I just love it so much. Can you send it to me? Yada, yada, yada. You may not be the best person who has ever made spaghetti in the entire history of the planet Earth, but you know how to make spaghetti pretty damn good, so you can definitely still share it online. Now, when you start to understand that you have a knowledge, and when you start to build your own confidence and your self-worth. Let's back up there. Let's back up with that one, because self-worth and confidence is what really contributes to having audacity. So we're going to come back to that one. But when you start to develop both confidence and your self-worth, people will value you for the things that you have to say. So again, you're probably not the best person to ever make spaghetti in the entire planet Earth, but you do it in a special way that people really enjoy. Maybe you make it in 5 minutes. Maybe you add, different spices. Maybe you make it in a kid-friendly way, right? It's a really easy meal for parents to clean up or something. You have an experience in something, and when you start to own your experience, own your knowledge and your skill set, and be able to convey it to other people, that is what makes you an audacious creator. So being confident in what it is that you were talking about, and also understanding and knowing that you have experience and some expertise in something, to be able to help other people and share that online. Now, let's get back to the self-worth part. A lot of owning a business, and I talk about business on my channel as well, but a lot of owning a business is mental work. And what goes into mental work is being able to develop and build your self-worth. And I talk a lot about this in my creator course, which is coming out very, very soon. So it's going to be a Level Up Advanced Masterclass. But one of the things that I talk about is really working on your self-worth so that you can take yourself to the next level. Now, what a lot of people really struggle with, specifically with content creation, is they're half in, they're half out. Right? They are like, oh, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to do it part-time. I'm just going to get my feet wet. I'm going to see what's going on, whatever. So they'll tell themselves they're going to make a video a day, but instead they do, 4 videos a week instead of 7 videos a week. And because they're half in, half out, they'd only produce half as much they need to produce. And because of that, they're only showing up half as good as they should be, and their outcomes are half as good as it could be. And because of that, they only make half the amount of money as it could be, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you do not have self-worth, if you do not have confidence in yourself, if you do not have the belief that you can make something happen for yourself, then you are not going to get very far in this industry, let me tell you, because majority of the battle is having the delusion and consistently acting in accordance to that delusion. When people aren't cheering for you, when people aren't watching your videos, when people aren't sharing your content, when you aren't getting brand deals, that's where you mentally have to push and reinforce to yourself over and over and over again how to have self-worth and that you have self-worth. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole section on my upcoming course on self-worth and how to really develop your own in a business sense so that you can improve and level up in your business to be making multiple six figures. So that will be coming soon. Make sure you subscribe to see when that is released. But self-worth and confidence is incredibly important in business, especially in content creation, because again, you have to show up in front of strangers and put yourself out there on a regular basis in a way that most people around you probably aren't doing, in a way that you probably have never seen before and that you have probably never experienced before. So it really requires you to get out of your comfort zone and do something that you just haven't done in the past. And on that note, I'm going to talk about people who have the mindset of content creation being oversaturated. And this is really necessary if you want to be the audacious creator that you aspire to be. Because if you have this underlying belief that content creation is saturated and that no one needs to hear anything from me, and there's already thousands of creators on YouTube, there's already thousands of creators on Instagram, like, why should I even start this? It doesn't really matter because everybody else is already doing it. It's so saturated, yada. You are not going to get anywhere if you think like that. Because for one thing, the 9-to-5 corporate space is extremely saturated. But that has not stopped you from applying for a job, now has it? And that hasn't stopped hundreds of thousands of people from applying for jobs every single day. So it's not that something is oversaturated or it's undersaturated, right? It is, though, having the self-belief in yourself. And again, this all goes back to having the confidence within yourself to then show up with the audacity, right? If you believe that you have something new to contribute, if you do something in a different way that other people haven't seen, if your personality contributes in a way that people just need, right? Then you are going to show up as if people need you to show up. And how I thought about this when I first started creating content was, for whatever reason, people need to hear me say something. I really use my content to speak to my younger version of myself. And in creating those videos, I was able to reach people who needed to hear what I was saying at that time. Also very similar to my YouTube videos and when I post them regularly on this channel. But if I would have thought, oh, well, there's already so many other people giving this advice out, so why should I even do it? Then you wouldn't be here watching me on this channel, right? You wouldn't be asking for my advice, or you wouldn't be interested in know about my journey and how I've gone through this content creation industry and how I've built myself up to create this big business. It wasn't just because I got it at the right time or I did something at a certain time or, I had insider information. It is because I had the audacity to show up every single day, regardless of the results, right? I just showed up and gave out the advice in my own words, in my own way, in a way that resonated with other people and that they wanted to hear over and over and over again. And now it's at a point where people seek me for different advice, related to, travel hacks, related to destinations they can visit, because I do a lot of travel content on my Instagram and TikTok. Also with content creator education, I also do this type of content on my Instagram and TikTok as well, here and there. So when you show up knowing that you have something important to contribute, knowing that your word is powerful and that people need to hear what you have to say, you have the audacity, right? And it could be something that people have said thousands of times before, hundreds of thousands of times before, but whatever reason, it resonates in the way that you say it, in the way that you do it, and that's what people want from you. To wrap this up, I really want to emphasize that it's not that your skills or your talent is what makes you audacious. It is that you have this unrecognizable, insane belief in yourself that you are the person that people need to go to. You are the person people want to watch. You are the person people want to be around. You have to have this incredible, insane belief in yourself every single day. Like I said, it all boils down to self-worth. It all boils down to confidence. It boils down to your camera presence, how you show up on camera, how you speak to us. You shouldn't be convincing yourself as you're speaking on camera. You should be convincing us, right? So I know you've watched so many videos where you're like, girl, who are you trying to convince? You don't want to be that person. Okay, you want to be the person who has a strong sense of self-worth and also has a lot of self-confidence on camera and off camera. But I can promise you it starts with off camera, it starts with the internal work, and it starts with you believing in yourself. So if you guys like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you want to see other topics from me, let me know in the comment section. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.